My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of the story of Rise of the Tomb Raider, and this will be a spoiler-filled review, so if you haven't played it, go and play it, then come back and watch my review because I will be going in depth. This isn't going to be a super long review, there's not a ton of story to talk about, but I do like to break things down as much as I can, so that's what I'm going to try to do with this game. Now I do think they slipped up at the very beginning of this game, because I never really felt the emotional attachment to Laura's relationship with her dad. And I feel like if this game had a flashback at the very start, where he's telling her about this stone that he wants to find, it could establish the relationship, add emotional weight to the rest of the game, and I think it's a really missed opportunity they didn't go that route. Now, I don't understand why they did begin the game the way that they did, because you start climbing a mountain with Jonas and things go wrong, and then it goes back in time to the point where it's just like, okay, how did we get there? How did we get to that point? Kind of the Uncharted 2 type of opening. Like, it begins with you climbing a train and you just want to know, how did he get there? And that way did it a lot more effective because it was a very unique situation, and that's right before the third act of the story. Well, when we go back to where Laura is at the very beginning of this game, it's one act into the story, so it just doesn't have any weight, and you already begin the game finding this lost city in the desert, so I don't really think it was needed either. So anyways, you're looking for this lost city in the desert, and you're with this one guy, but this one guy betrays you, and it just lacked any sort of weight because you're just like, who is this guy? I played the entire game. I still don't know who he was or why I should care that he betrayed her. Like, it's not like it actually affected the story in any way. But that's a nitpick. Let's keep going. I love the entire section of when she enters the lost city and all the different puzzles in this area. Well, like, you have to balance the water level out. I just thought that was really creative and I loved it. I love the visuals here, just of this decaying old city. Just I thought it was really fantastic stuff. And then you find this tomb and it's empty, and then the bad guys start coming down, so you hide in the tomb, and like Laura definitely had the jump on them here. Like, they open the tomb and she's just like, haha, I'm here. Like, if you're going to go for the surprise attack, then go for the surprise attack. Like, just, these guys aren't here to help you, just shoot them. Just assume they're evil and shoot them. That's what she should have done. She really messed up there. But anyways, you escape the temple, and then we get this flashback scene, which I didn't really care for. They should have used these to establish the relationship between Laura and her dad, so we have a better idea of what's motivating her. Like, we understand that it's her dad, but we never feel it. And this flashback sequence where the one dude steals the book and then jumps out the window, just, I don't like it at all. I thought it was really bad. And then we're back where we started, just like that. We go looking for stuff in this lost city and we're back at the beginning. No need for this kind of storytelling. It's completely overdone. The structure just wasn't needed. But anyways, you make your way through all these different sections, lots of fun, and then you get captured. And it turns out that Anna's captured too. And they're about to kill Anna. They're like, give us the information we need. And it turns out Laura actually doesn't know, and Anna's evil. And I'm just like, oh, okay. I like the personal angle to the villain. I'm kind of curious to see where they take it. But they didn't really take it in anywhere interesting. Like, it's definitely an angle that should have been played up way more. Like, I still can't tell you if Anna was her friend or her stepmom. Maybe I just need to pay attention better, but I wish they established that relationship a bit more in flashbacks prior to this, and then you'd feel the weight all the more. I like the ideas, but the execution is a bit sloppy. But they put Laura in this prison, and I just like how she doesn't waste a single second. She's instantly looking for a way to break out, and I love that about her, and how she eventually lets Jacob out too. And I just thought the way Jacob was introduced was really good. I just like his character, his personality. He just seems like a genuinely good dude, and whenever he was on screen, I like the friendship that he forms with Laura, no matter how rushed it was. I do wish his group of people in the village was established a bit more, Because you escape, you go to his village, and at first everyone's just like, you're bad. And then Jacob's like, no, she's good. And everyone's like, you're good. And then all of a sudden the village is under attack. And what's happening is huge to these people. Like, the way of life is under attack. And it's really fun to play, but you don't feel the weight of it on an emotional level. And I do think that was some wasted opportunity. I should have also mentioned Sophie. I like Sophie quite a bit. She just has a very distinct personality that I quite enjoyed. And then you go away tomb raiding, and eventually Jonas comes back into the picture, your friend from the very beginning of the game. And I just thought this character was lacking. He just adds nothing to the character or to the story. He's just kind of there for the sake of it, so Laura can have another friend, but not really needed. I'm going to be honest, I thought for sure he was going to betray her at a certain point, but he never did, and I'm glad he did. I think that would have been really lame. But there's one point where he's holding the map, and he gets captured, and the fact that he's like being lifted up to this helicopter, he's got the map in his hands, and he doesn't seem to drop it, was infuriating to me. Like, this entire final conflict can be resolved if you just drop the freaking map. Just drop it. Drop it. But no, the guy's an idiot and he doesn't drop it. So then you go out and try to rescue him. And I thought this entire section was fantastic when you're making your way to the prison block. And then Jonas gets killed in front of you and it lacks any sort of impact. And beforehand, she's trying to break the window and she can only do it after he gets killed. Which, I know it's a movie, saying TV, saying video game, saying, but it's still quite the contrivance. But then it turns out that Jacob can bring people back to life, and I feel like this is a moment where they should have played up the supernatural, the more mystical elements a bit, because Jacob just kind of does it, and it should have had a sense of awe and wonder to him bringing him back. So it just feels like Jonah's only contribution to this story is that he dies and comes back to life to show that Jacob can do that. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. But the entire divine angle should have been established better. Like, when he brings Jonas back, Laura's just like, well, I guess you're the prophet or whatever. And it's just like, the prophet? What? Who? What's that? Like, I don't know what the prophet is. So that reveal doesn't have any weight behind it because I don't know what anybody is talking about. It's a moment for them, but not for the gamer playing the game. There was this really great moment where you are getting surrounded and you escape into the water, and then you'll have to go underwater. There's like, 7, 8 different holes in the ice, and you're surrounded in this room, and you gotta take out these guys, and you just go swimming from one side of the room to the other and take them out. And I thought that was a really creative, unique, and really fun moment of the game. And then there's also this giant puzzle. This like giant sphere with all these spinning parts that you have to move. And in terms of exploring and just pure fun of this game, I just thought this moment was really fantastic. Just when everything's moving around and you have to jump from one part to the next. Really fantastic stuff. And then when you eventually enter the city, it just lacks any sense of awe and wonder. It just feels like another part of the game. It's just missing that extra factor. Like, you know in Uncharted 2 when you open the door and you see Shambhala, and you're just like, wow. Like, you feel what the characters feel, and you never get that in this game. And this is also the moment of the game where I had that giant glitch moment where I kept getting killed from behind the catapult and drove me nuts. Actually, now that I mentioned Uncharted 2, there's lots of similarities. You know, you've got something that gives eternal life, like what they're looking for in Uncharted 2. The Lost City, the snowy ice, the structure, the Guardians. I don't know how I didn't put this together before now, but there's lots of inspiration, I'll say. But both games can exist just fine. I still enjoyed this game. It's no Uncharted 2, but it's still a really good game. The final boss, when you're fighting Constantine, I thought was really lame. Like, you're fighting this Constantine guy, and as soon as it started, I started attacking him head on, but you can't do any damage from head on. You gotta sneak up behind him. So even though this game came first, it did remind me of the Abby Ellie fight in Last of Us 2, but it was still decent. And then we got the big moment with Eternal Life, where Anna decides to give herself Eternal Life, and Laura then takes it and smashes it. There's just everything here, like any bit of weight. Like, it's established that Anna's dying, so you understand why she's doing it. But once again, you don't feel it. And then I don't understand how it works that she can just give herself eternal life. Okay, she knows how to do that. And then Laura keeping it, like, it's not a big moment that she breaks it because I didn't think she was going to accept eternal life. I didn't think she was going to do anything different. It's impactful when you think, oh, the character might do this. They have every reason to do so, but they don't. Like, you've got something that gives you eternal life, and that gives you the perfect opportunity to have a game about eternal life. And do you want it? Do you not want it? Find ways to challenge the characters on that kind of level. She lost her dad. Maybe if she had this, she could have saved him. Just, there's lots of things you could have explored about life and death here, and you don't really do so. Like, even at a point, Laura's like, we're meant to die. And it's just like, I agree with that standpoint. I just wish you actually explored it in the story and in the characters. As that all said, Jacob's death did have some emotional weight behind it, and then the game wraps up. And I'm just like, really, that's it? Like, it didn't take me long to beat this game at all. I will say the ending voiceover is quite dumb, and the post-credit scene, well, Anna gets shot, but not Laura, I thought was really stupid. So, I definitely have issues with the story, but I don't think it's a bad story. Like, it's someone looking for a lost city, and that's exactly all it needed to be. It doesn't have the emotional weight that it could have gained if they went deeper into the characters, into the story. But not every game, not every story has to do that. This game is perfectly fine at what it was trying to do, and it's trying to be a fun action-adventure game, and it vastly succeeded at that. Yes, I wish it had a phenomenal story. It could have elevated this game to real greatness. But for what this game is, not what I want it to be, for what it is, I had a really good time with it. So you should definitely check it out if you haven't played it. But if you haven't played it, why are you watching the spoiler review? You shouldn't be. But anyways, have you played Rise of the Tomb Raider? Let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon, and Gavin out.